Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. Big roster drama going down last night, but not in the traditional way that we have seen over the last couple of weeks. Yes, there are some more roster updates, especially from FNS on the likes of Derke and what NRG are currently up to, but also what about the spreadsheet guys? Putting the spreadsheets together to determine what's been going on behind the scenes in Rostermania over the last couple of weeks and months, and RocketBullets decides yesterday to take a slight foray into some slightly more serious reporting, and it does not end especially well for all parties. Not a great look for the scene. Very much interested to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you are new as always. I greatly appreciate it here. Firstly, this is Pacific in the Ascension side, or Ascension in the Pacific side, and these are some of the games that have just concluded here to get now down to the final 4 teams in the region. We know that Sinprasa Gaming, we know that Full Sense are going to be here the favourites, but Riddle Order and Boom Esports, they have made their respective runs through the lower bracket, and Boom Esports versus Disguised was a pretty big one that has just concluded this morning. DSG, of course, many people still supporting this organisation, and understandably so, because of Toast and everything that he's done for the scene as a result. But yeah, DSG effectively in many respects the academy roster for Bleed Esports, they go down, and it's Boom Esports, also Singaporean in general and Indonesian, they get over the line and knock DSG out of the tournament. Juicy tried his best, 64 in 46 plus 18, but it wasn't quite good enough at the end of the day, so DSG falls short. And as DSG say, winning the qualifier, making it to Ascension was monumental for the DSG legacy. We weren't able to take it, unfortunately, all the way. So wishing these guys the best going forwards. Wonder what's next for DSG, for effectively, like, you know, what happens with Bleed going forwards, and, you know, wishing everyone the best. Of course, only, unfortunately, one team could win in these respective regions, as these guys found out in the Americas, right? So Net is now unrestricted free agents. This is the case for like that entire M80 team. They ran it back for a couple of years, not quite the same roster, but similar. They lost 2 grand finals in a row. That is devastating, obviously, and now M80 as an organization are possibly seriously considering their future as well, whether they commit to another year. But the reality is all of their players have been let go, their contracts are over, no longer having to pay these guys, and yeah, grateful for my time with M80, says Net. Wish all the players and the staff the best, of course. Was on the guard, won it in the league, out of the league, became G2. Now he's on M80, unfortunately falls short again, and obviously Xander was, you know, talking in the replies here. So we'll see where Xander goes. Of course, these guys have been linked, especially Xander, to various organizations lately, and BCJ, I kind of wondered yesterday what he was going to say about this, but yeah, talks about a very difficult season, hard work into the project, and yeah, just unfortunate after coming back in the way that I did to eventually lose and bow out of the tournament entirely. So, you know, he says quite a lot of things. He actually mentions that when Deadlock releases, so Valve's new game, he actually thinks that he's going to maybe try and go pro on that. He says he's been one of the highest rated players in the closed beta, but there's no quite set release date yet. So, you know, he's going to stick with VALORANT, but he is kind of discussing the possibility of maybe transitioning to another esport. So wishing BCJ the best. Power out from BBL, he's going to be gone. Restricted free agent from the BBL esports organization. Just so much Turkish talent, as we full well know, but still maybe a little bit surprising, this one. But let's talk about some of the big roster drama and developments last night. So Sentinels tweeted this out because we know that the other day they got rid of Zeken's tick, right? So he had a tick emoji and then it was linked to Sentinels. They got rid of it as part of the whole stunt where they were like, oh, is Zeken going to stay? Is he going to go? Obviously he was going to stay. Now they're trying to bring it back and they won't, you know, they won't give it back to him. I don't know. It probably is going to take a few weeks or a month or whatever to get it back. So pretty funny. Took away Zeken's badge as a joke. Now we can't get it back, but I imagine they'll figure things out. Speaking of Sentinels though, we yesterday had a pretty interesting development here, as Pedro points out, from RocketBullets. So RocketBullets, of course, the spreadsheet guy, and controversially so, because he's obviously been putting together some spreadsheets, and some of the stuff in the spreadsheets was misinformation. He was getting misinformed by certain parties, but, you know, there's no doubt that he knew some people that were giving him some valid information. Now, whether all of his stuff was credible, no, and every time we talked about it on the channel, we always said, like, you know, it's always a bit of a pinch of salt here, but it's likely that he is hearing some things that are legit. At the end of the day, this guy, likely a very young guy, and, you know, speaking to certain people, trying to do a job and a service for the community. Now, Flynn, of course, is unavailable, especially because the Brazilian scene got banned off Twitter, unfortunately. So, you know, Rocket was trying his best, maybe not always doing the best job, but, you know, trying to provide a service for the community, which I think is, you know, on some level always appreciated. So Rocket yesterday decided, all right, instead of just making the spreadsheet, I'll do a little bit more reporting really, and I'll say, look, like kind of what George Geddes used to do, or what Alejandro, for example, currently does, and saying, look, sources say this, and this is what I'm hearing, and whatever. So he tweeted a couple of things. Derke to NRG, for example, trialing with them on high ping, and, well, FNS kind of denies that in a second, but doesn't really fully deny it, as we'll see. But he also tweeted this out. Sentinels are trialing Bang for their controller role for the upcoming year, which is a rumor that has gone around a little bit. I don't know if that's true or not. Obviously, Bang then goes on to quote tweet this and says, look, basically, you spelt my surname wrong, which, okay, mistake, obviously not a great mistake, but also would Bang quote tweet this if it was true? I don't know. And there's some players that have quote tweeted stuff and basically said, oh, you know, this isn't true, this isn't true. And I get it, but often, you know, who really knows what's actually happening there behind the scenes? So, and then the account gets deleted. So what happened here yesterday is that after Rocket decided, all right, to make some slightly more serious reports, then the Reddit decided to ban him, basically. And they said, look, RocketBullets is not a reliable source, so any posts from Rocket are not going to be allowed on the subreddits because we're not sure if they're going to constitute misinformation or not. Which, you know, I thought that was a little bit unfair just because, you know, it's okay to allow, in my opinion, a post that says, hey, this guy says this is happening according to sources. Like, I don't think Rocket's just making stuff up for the intention of misinforming people. I think it's just worth understanding that if you're going to post that on the Reddit, people have to know, okay, pinch of salt here, serious pinch of salt. But, you know, you're going to stop people talking about this. I wasn't sure personally that was the right approach. And then we had this, which is from VCT Spreadsheets. And I don't really have a problem with this guy who's also making his own spreadsheets on the situation. But, so RocketBullets yesterday effectively rebranded his spreadsheet to make it look slightly different and more similar, to be fair, to what VCT Spreadsheets does. So this is his version, and RocketBullets had redesigned his to look more similar to this. I mean, it wasn't identical, but it was more similar. And then there was like spreadsheet maker drama, really, because he says, looks really familiar, doesn't it? And then he says, I had a suspicion he was copying mine. It's so blatant. I'm frustrated. I don't know what to do. It's like, well, respectfully, you don't own the copyright to a design of a spreadsheet. And he was actually making them for longer than this guy was, as far as I'm aware anyway. So, I don't know. I thought the drama was all kind of entertaining. Unfortunately, where it went no longer somewhat entertaining is that the account then got deleted, right? So RocketBullets shut his account down. And it seems like as a culmination of everything that happens, including the fact that he was like, effectively his posts were banned on the Reddit, he was receiving, well, just some insane stuff as far as I'm concerned. Like, okay, people don't necessarily have to like this guy. He, you know, was misinformed on certain things. But, you know, my feeling is he was trying his best to do what he could for the community. I don't think he was intentionally misleading people. And he's probably a really young guy as well. And, well, he deactivated his Twitter because people have been sending him death threats. And he recently got a DM from a burner account with a picture of my house on Google Earth. So he got doxxed by some guy and was told, and basically the guy told him to delete my account or it's going to be released to the public. So he got doxxed and blackmailed over like making a spreadsheet for VCT roster moves, and therefore was effectively coerced into deleting his account and shutting it all down. So I feel like it's a real shame actually for the scene, this, because, you know, I know that people in a couple of weeks, people probably aren't really going to care. But I feel like this whole saga is quite sad, really. And as he says, you know, I will no longer be interacting with VCT Twitter. I'll just watch the games myself. Sorry for the misinformation. I naively believed all the people will be trying to help me. This could be a community effort, but I see that's not true. So, and then he kind of talked about other people that are going to do a good job continually. So, yeah, I just thought it was crazy that this guy was doxed and sent death threats for this type of stuff. And I agree that, I mean, largely what he was doing in some ways, and okay, he didn't do a perfect job, but what he's trying to do here is a community service to help the community keep up to date with the roster rumors and, you know, see what's happening. And now, you know, that's all gone to pot, it seems. So, yeah, even Yampy was in the replies here. As George said, you've successfully bullied this kid. And Yampy was like, yeah, when that one guy faked the info, I was wondering why people seem to enjoy and laugh about someone getting humiliated like that, when, you know, it's easy to say in hindsight, isn't it? But I was still kind of disappointed with this whole saga, but yeah, hopefully it's all okay. I'm wishing RocketBullets the best, even if we don't really hear and see from him anymore. He did, of course, also talk about the Derke rumour to NRG, and I'm pretty sure even VCT Spreadsheets had that on his spreadsheet as well over, yeah, so yeah, even on his spreadsheet he has Derke potentially linked to NRG. FNS does talk about that here, so I'll just share that clip as we effectively go to close out the video from FNS's stream, where he says on a couple of things, but especially on the possibility of trialing numerous players. FNS basically says, look, he's not really so happy with trialing loads of players. He doesn't think it always necessarily works. He says, why would I trial Derke on 120 ping from Europe? But he doesn't like completely deny that maybe Derke was in the lobby for a couple of minutes. So very much interested in your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comment section as I play this clip. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.
What are your thoughts on M80 losing the finals? Losing the final 2 times in a row, I'd call it. I'm sorry. I'd call it. Like, those guys cannot play another season together. I saw they were like all free agents now. Makes sense, bro. I'm not playing a 3rd season if I lose twice in a row. I'm sorry. Like, respect for them to like run it back and stuff, but losing in the same fashion again, so. But yeah, no. If I'm M80, like, there's no way I do a 3rd season of that. So makes sense that all their players kind of are in free agency now. Chad, do you guys actually care about leaks? Because I could leak everything, but I don't want to be like, I don't think the teams really care. Yes, but not EG is crazy. NRG Derke? Why would I trial someone in EU? They're 100 ping. Makes no sense. Now, we did trials for like 5 days, and then that's it. We have not played since as a team. And right now, contracts are being like messed around with and negotiated, so we're just waiting for things. Who did you trial? Everyone under the sun, bro. We trialed literally so many guys. I think trials are so stupid, by the way. I think they're so terrible.